Good evening and welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present top stories in the news tonight. President Hakainde Hichilema denies being a puppet of the West. A.C.C. to appeal against RONALD CHITOTELA'S discharge by the magistrate court. The Bank of Zambia names the firm behind the hacking of its system. And in international news, Nigerians turn to charcoal as cooking gas prices soar. At sports news, Zambia to build on the experience from international friendly games ahead of AFCON.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilo. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Another news in detail. Kanyama West Ward 14 Councillor Fred Mumba has underscored his commitment to improving security in the area by rehabilitating the police post that was vandalized by the residents. Earlier this month, the residents of Kanyama West called relevant authorities to consider rebuilding the Kanyama West police post to tighten up security in the area. The police post was vandalized by community members during the episodes of gassing in the year 2020, as the residents felt the police were harboring people suspected to be behind the gassing of homes. More in this report.
Kanyama constituency is among the highly densely populated areas of Lusaka, and crime remains an issue for the local people. The area does not have adequate police posts, thus making crime prevention and response a difficult task. Last week, Camnet TV brought out a story on the vandalized police post, where the people appealed to the authorities to help reconstruct the police to beef up security in the area.
Is the government to put things in place according to how we want them to do. Road siri mushe, police kuribe, vantu vanaipwanya. So all these challenges, the government must put in mind that people here are crying for the things we are talking about.
When is the 18th May 2022, Kanyama West Ward 14 Councillor Fred Mumba informed Camnet News that they have embarked on the rehabilitation of Kanyama West Police Post.
We started, I think a week ago, that's when we became serious with the team. After the police was destroyed by the community, you know, the angry mob, they suspected the police were harboring the gassers that time.
The police post was vandalized by the community during episodes of gassing in 2020, as the residents felt the police station was harboring people suspected to be behind the gassing of homes. As such, there has been an increase in criminal activities in the area. Kanyama Ward 14 Councillor Fred Mumba underscored their commitment to improving security in the ward.
Enough materials now to finish the structure, but later on we'll sit again as a team to do to buy the roofing sheets, and already there are some who have already committed themselves towards the same. So we are looking forward to finish this project as soon as possible. I think the officers will need to come on the ground.
It was in a team of community personnel who are willing to help on voluntary basis so that we can have this done and we bring our officers in the area since crime is high. We need to remove crime in the area, and also we need to stay where there's security. After this building, there's a clinic whereby people come with assault cases, but no one is attending to them because we don't have police working. So we're working hand in hand with our area councillor and the members of the public, the bricklayers, and all the people who are willing, and we are wishing some help from all well wishers who can help us for the iron sheets, for the timber, nails, whatever.
Cherish Sibote reporting for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A committee representing over 4,000 retirees from the National Housing Authority, NHA, ZESCO, and the Lusaka City Council have bemoaned the slow pace at which the money is being disbursed by the local authority superannuation fund. In an interview, the representatives say despite the Ministry of Finance having begun their said payments, which amount to about 600 million kwacha in 2020, they have only received 350 million kwacha, which has also been done in phases over the last 2 years. They have since called for quick and full payment of their money, saying they cannot make any meaningful investments with the current system of payment. More in this report.
These are representatives of over 4,000 retirees from the Lusaka City Council, the National Housing Authority, ZESCO, and other public institutions who have begun receiving payments under the Local Authority Superannuation Fund (LASIF). While they have begun receiving payments, the retirees have expressed dissatisfaction with the payment mode, stating that it is being done in phases, which is preventing them from making any meaningful investments. The committee representing the retirees has told Camnet News that out of about 600 million kwacha, the group has only been paid 350 million kwacha since 2020, which is also done after prolonged periods of 6 months at times.
If possible, they can manage to pay in full the 450. It means that RASIF will have little burden. And also looking at the money as if they are raised bit by bit. Our retirees, the main concern is they are failing to do their projects. Because the money which is being given, it now becomes like just support. Maybe for school, maybe for agriculture inputs. But if someone is raising a house, maybe the roof level, it needs substantial amount of money for him to finish his project. So that's our plea and our main concern.
We were here to brief our members that is true the government has released the sum of 150 million with the retirees. We really appreciate the effort put up by the government. Yes, the 150 has reached LASIF and it has even started paying. Now the balance, of course, is still there of about 450. It is only our hope that this one will also be looked into, because problems are still there.
When we retire, it's not a sin. When we retire, it means we give room for our children to get employment. So meaning that for us, when we have retired, because the number is increasing, mind you, the 150 is not enough, but the number of retirees is increasing, it's going up. Let's have a good amount of money so that retirees should not be suffering.
They have since called for speedy and full payment, stating that they have waited for the said money for a long time and it will be of no help to them if paid in small portions. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
Kachasu brewers in Lusaka's garden compound have appealed to the government to consider empowering them to venture into alternative sources of income generation. They say the government cannot be restricting them from Kachasu brewing without helping them with alternative means of survival. They made the remarks when New Heritage Party President Chichalagateka visited the area to appreciate their economic situation. Meanwhile, the New Heritage Party President Chichalagateka has urged the government to conduct an assessment of how many people are in this business to find a long-lasting solution to the problem. Messi Chinika reports.
Kachasu is an illegal brew in Zambia, but due to inadequate enforcement, Kachasu brewing is one of the economic ventures in most low-income areas. In a recent attempt to stop people from this illegal act, it landed the local government minister, Gary Nkombo, in trouble. In the process of trying to demonstrate how bad the illicit brew is to the well-being of people, he ended up violating people's rights in Lusaka's garden compound area in Kanyama constituency. Wednesday 18th, May 2022, New Heritage Party President Tishala Kateka visited this area. Some Kachasu brewers expressed worry that government wants to stop them from brewing Kachasu without providing alternative businesses.
So now that in a living idea koma tatavuta ni bwino kasi bana basali kaya bapunzire ni bwerende kumunzi so ni kamba nawo mayiro so nombonuza manja ati yambani kulemba mazina malisti ya banzalo nata paja pa festival kombo nangini pesa mazina tulembani mazina wali mpika na omo ninalemba mazina jana costing 110 nonuza ati 110 yo namba ya kula kuna majama ndio mimi tunapita kutaya moga ni tufuna mulemba afuti no bochi njanzera tawanza kabwera bwino kai madoni ziba so baje abantu alabwana ukira ine nokambati mwamai.
The residents say they are aware that Kachasu is not a legal business in Zambia, but they have limited capacity and knowledge on how to run other businesses.
Tizwa ni chimwe tirako ni risking esi business wenira koma semba natubwera bulubulu batitenga tupangisa meeting batipasa na lamulo batipasa na time iyi time yaso mzakaleka na kusakira nto chita mzachita zimayi paja wangazibwera mwamene tikalo kokonkala mulonga tite vili bonse batingati batitandiza batipeleka batipasa poti kapena mpabwino na istakondwe tileka kai chitezia ati government yathu atinyamula tika pabwino manja paleka ntileke nchito ene sifu na government sachitentota na government nasendise bantu maye mabweredo swana bwere mushe bajana tate watu batisunga nzofunika kuti bana banga ichaswa anitoipa mnyumba mwanga chirekeni nesete abana tinga konke malamulo nakamba tata tuza chaso tete konke malamulo natuza tata manje tata abwera na by force mfuti kuliza matia gas kutira bana kukolewa komboni yose sanzo chitekea kapokopotira matia gas sichina wa amedeso abantu anambotema miala manje chifukwa cha matia gas mon.
Meanwhile, the New Heritage Party President Tishala Kateka has donated some foodstuff to some of the affected residents to help ease their burden.
To do agriculture somewhere. What works for most Zambians is small-scale farming and small-scale businesses. And that's why we were saying that, yes, there's a Ministry of SME, but we felt that more money should be put in there. I think we need to do a lot more brainstorming to see how these problems can be addressed so that livelihoods, it's not just these people, it's also the people on the streets. How do we deal with it? It's such a big thing, and whoever will resolve that, that's the king for this nation, because they are bringing the solutions. So it's something that I think one of the things we don't do as Zambians is we don't put our minds together to say, let's find a solution to this.
A.C.C Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Former Tourism Minister Ronald CHITOTELA'S has cried for peace while accusing the Anti-Corruption Commission of maliciously prosecuting him for a long time. Speaking to the media shortly after his discharge by the magistrate court in a case he was facing 2 counts of being in possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, Mr. CHITOTELA challenged the commission to focus on fighting corruption in the country and not him. Earlier, Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Bwalia discharged Mr. CHITOTELA from the 2 counts of corruption charges owing to the fact that he entered a consent settlement agreement with the commission and hence cannot be prosecuted for the same offense. Meanwhile, the commission says it will appeal the decision by the court to discharge the accused from the case. Miriam Kayemba reports.
In a twist and turn of events, former Tourism Minister Ronald CHITOTELA, who was supposed to be tried by the Lusaka's Magistrate Court under the Specialized Economic Financial Crimes Court, following his recent arrest by the Anti-Corruption Commission, has been discharged. The former cabinet minister, who is currently serving as Patriotic Front Pambashe constituency member of parliament, was slapped with 2 counts of being in possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime. However, he argued that he and A.C.C. entered a consent settlement agreement to exempt him from prosecution on the said allegations. Challenging his prosecution, Mr. CHITOTELA, who first appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Walia on the 5th of May 2022, made an application before he could even take plea in the case. His submission through his lawyers were that the 2 offences that he possessed a property valued at 380,000 kwacha believed to be proceeds of crime, while in the other count that he received 500,000 kwacha from Vale Construction Limited through RKC Travel and Guide Limited, monies alleged of being proceeds of crime were subject of a consent settlement agreement pursuant to Section 80 of the A.C.C. Act No. 3 of 2012, hence could not be prosecuted of the same offence. While the A.C.C. prosecutors objected and urged the court not to entertain the application, but to order for the matter to proceed to trial, the court then reserved a ruling. And when the matter came up Wednesday morning, the 18th of May 2022, Magistrate Walia discharged Mr. CHITOTELA on account of the consent settlement agreement that he entered with the Commission. In a ruling, the court found the charges against the lawmaker to be incompetent on ground that he could not be prosecuted on the same charges after his settlement agreement with the Commission. The court further took into consideration the said settlement agreement, which was produced by the defense dated June 24, 2019, and had a signature stamp of the Director General of the A.C.C. and a signature stamp of the Chief Resident Magistrate then. The court has however indicated that it is only a mere discharge and not an acquittal for Mr. CHITOTELA. And speaking shortly after his court appearance, the lawmaker accused the A.C.C. of maliciously prosecuting him and not fighting corruption.
I want to appeal to the Anti-Corruption Commission and the investigative wings. They must fight corruption, not fight CHITOTELA. This is a clear demonstration that they are not fighting corruption, they are fighting individuals. They've been fighting me for a long time. Nanaka. In Bemba we say akanyelenga wakapimpira kalasuma. Yes. I'm tired. I want to appeal to them to fight corruption and not fight CHITOTELA. Let us respect the law. We declare ourselves to be the country that will be governed by the law of law. So we must be able to respect the law. Unfortunately, I want to repeat, instead of investigating crime, we are pressing people and begin investigating the people. That's why I'm saying, don't fight CHITOTELA, fight corruption. If you want to fight CHITOTELA, I think I have been prosecuted for long. I need peace.
Still in denial of the court's ruling, A.C.C. says it will appeal the decision by the court.
The Commission will immediately exercise its right to appeal the decision on the basis that, among others, a settlement agreement under Section 80 of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012 is only tenable when an accused person has fulfilled 2 conditions, and these conditions are: 1. He or she has given a full and true disclosure of all material facts relating to past corrupt conduct and an illegal activity. 2. He or she has voluntarily paid, deposited, or refunded all property the person acquired through corruption or illegal activity.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, has not yet issued consent to prosecute the case in which former Secretary to the Treasury, Fred Sonyamba, and 5 others are accused of authorizing an advanced payment of 33 million United States dollars for the construction of the FJT University. Mr. Yamba is jointly charged with former Ministry of Higher Education Permanent Secretary, Administration, Owen Mgemezulu, and 4 others with willful failure to comply with applicable law and abuse of authority, among others. Allegations are that the 6 in 2017 authorized an advance payment of 33,750,000 United States dollars to a Chinese-based construction company for the construction of the FJT University. Nelson Zulu has more in the following report.
Following public debate on where the funds for the construction of the FTJ University were channeled to, 6 people, among them former Secretary to the Treasury, Fred Sonyamba, and former Permanent Secretary for Administration in the Ministry of Higher Education, Owen Gemezulu, have been indicted to their allegations and now charged with 3 counts of willful failure to comply with the law, 1 count of fraudulent facilitation of payment, and 1 count of abuse of authority. The accused, who are said to have authorized an advance payment of $33,750,000 to a Chinese-based construction company for the construction of the FTJ University. Allegations contrary to Section 34, 2B of the A.C.C. Act of 2012. When the matter came before Lusaka Principal Magistrate Jennifer Bwalia, the state substituted the indictment where Mr. Mgemezulu was charged alone with a new one, thereby allowing 5 more people to be added to the offense. Allegations in the first count is that Mr. Yamba, between the 1st of January and 31st December 2017, failed to comply with the law in the management of funds and authoring an advance payment of $33,750,000 to China Energy Engineering Group, Yunnan Electric Power Design Institute Company Limited, for the construction of the FTJ Chiluba University under the Ministry of Higher Education. While in the second count, Mr. Mgemezulu is alleged to have on the same date failed to comply with the law by entering into a contract with Yunnan Electric Power Design Institute Company Limited worth $225 million for the design and build of FTJ Chiluba University without subjecting the contract to Zambia Public Procurement Authority for approval. However, in count 3, former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Vocational Training, Science and Early Education, Patrick Nkanza, failed to comply with the law by entering into a contract with Yunnan Electric Power Design Institute Company Limited worth $213,734,967 kwacha without confirming the availability of the funds. And in the fourth count, Joseph Ntele, Joseph Piri, and Joseph Ngulube, while working under the Ministry of General Education as project managers for the construction of the FTJ Chiluba University, attempted to fraudulently facilitate a payment to Yunnan Electric Power Design Institute Company Limited by signing and issuing an interim payment certificate number 2 valued at $29,186,169 with an inflated $7,578,772 and 40 cents for goods purportedly supplied when in fact not. The matter has been adjourned to the 20th of July for possible plea, awaiting instruction from the DPP. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News.
A joint investigation team composed of the Drug Enforcement Commission (DEC), the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Zambia Police Service this morning interrogated former President Edgar Lungu's son Daliso on the ownership of the vehicles seized from him in March this year. Daliso Lungu was interrogated for more than an hour at the Ministry of Home Affairs premises. Information gathered by Camnet News indicate that he was represented by Senior Counsel Charles Changano, who explained that his client has refused ownership of the seized vehicle, but however stated that the vehicles in question belong to his company. The Alliance for Community Action says the lack of the Access to Information Bill will make it difficult for community members to keep track of projects that will be done in their communities using the Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Speaking to Camnet TV News, ACA Information and Advocacy Officer Andrew Banda says demanding for detailed information such as receipts will be challenging as they have no legal backing. He has since reminded the government to expedite the implementation of the Access to Information Bill into law. Zipporah Mshala filed in this report.
Transparency in community development is essential if to ensure full participation of the community, from identifying what projects should be undertaken to ensuring that such infrastructure is safeguarded from vandalism. Zambia is set to see more community projects spring up in the next 5 years, as the United Party for National Development UPND administration has emphasized on bringing about grassroots development using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. It is for this reason that CDF was increased to 25.7 million kwacha from 1.6 million kwacha. However, the Alliance for Community Action ACA says without the Access to Information Bill ATI, it will be difficult for communities to ask relevant information concerning the projects, as they will have no legal backing. ACA Information and Advocacy Officer Mr. Andrew Banda was speaking to Camnet News.
When it comes to CDF and the Access to Information Bill, I think the two go together, and it's in two respects. One, citizens are everywhere. The Anti-Corruption Commission is not everywhere. The Auditor General's office is not everywhere. So the citizens are the easiest instruments to use to blow the whistle on mismanagement, to blow the whistle on corruption. And so if you give them the Access to Information Bill, one, they can go to the offices and ask for information, the minutes, the budgets, and all these plans, so that they know that their money is being spent prudently.
He adds that citizens are highly expectant that the UPND administration will push for the bill, which has been a failed matter in successive administrations.
These institutions which are given government money will also be compelled to proactively release this information, so that not every time a citizen has to go to those offices to look for information. So the Access to Information Bill and CDF are two critical instruments which work hand in hand. And now we have CDF increased, we don't have access to information. So that's a very, very big danger, and the government should look upon it.
Stakeholders have been calling for the Access to Information Bill for many years now, but to no avail. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The United Party for National Development, UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Phineas Pomolo has charged that reports of alleged United Party for National Development, UPND cadres putting up illegal structures and harassing traders are merely propaganda against the ruling party. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Pomolo has wondered why such individuals have not been reported to the Zambia police, given that political cadres have no political backing under the current administration. Traders at the Said market have been claiming harassment and alleging that UPND cadres are setting up illegal makeshift stands.
We are saddened with the reports that we are receiving from Comesa Market, that our cadres have invaded Comesa Market. But I want to confirm to you that that is not true. Those are just PF propagandas. Those people that you see who are trying to make makeshift stores, those are PF trying to use the UPND name. Because you have to understand that the UPND youths, they don't know the intel of how to elect a structure the way the PF guys were doing in the past. The UPND youths, they are aware that only council are authorized to give a trading space, not the cadres. So what we are seeing at Comesa, it is purely propaganda by our colleagues in opposition. Because we as UPND, our stance is very clear. The president said it point blank. No one is allowed to do illegal things in the name of the party. Those that we have seen complaining to our local government minister about the illegality which is taking place at bus stations, after we carried out our investigations, those are same PF cadres who were executive in bus stations, who are busy reporting falsehood to Honorable Garin Kombo. Even what we are seeing at the Comesa is typically of the PF, and they just want to bring in the name of the party. We know what is happening. Our youths are not collecting monies anywhere. Our youths are not giving trading spaces anywhere. That is falsehood, that is propaganda. Whoever has got proof that our youths are doing illegality, let them go to report to a nearest police station.
President Hakainde Hichilema says driving economic success is not equivalent to being a bootlicker or an agent of imperialism of the European Union. Speaking at the launch of the European Union Zambia Economic Business Forum in Lusaka Wednesday, President Hichilema says he is urgent of the people of Zambia and is keen on making their lives easier by attracting beneficial investment. He says people in the country need to draft debate away from the things that are not on the agenda of reconstructing the economy. And President Hichilema says the EU market is very difficult for African businesses to access and has called on the EU to open up its market to Africa and its businesses. And African Union Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Industry and Mining, Ambassador Albert Muchanga, has called for the realization of the funds meant for the green transition, which the polluters of the world are supposed to pay to affected countries. Prudence Chota reports.
The first ever European Union Zambia Economic Business Forum has commenced in Lusaka at the Molongoshi Conference Center and is being held under the theme Economic Transformation Through Green Growth. Several local and European Union businesses are exhibiting at the forum in an effort to improve investment between the EU and Zambia. And Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema, who officially launched the program, says driving economic success is not equivalent to being a bootlicker or an agent of imperialism of the European Union, as is being purported by some sector of society.
Driving economic success is not equivalent to being a bootlicker to anyone. It's not equivalent to the agent of imperialism. I'm no agent of no one. I'm an agent of the people of Zambia to make their life.
And President Hichilema says the European Union market is very difficult for African businesses to access and has called on the EU to open up its market to African products and businesses.
EU. There are many things we need to look at. Sometimes your market is difficult to access. Can we open it up a bit? Let's open it up. The opposite is equally true. Sometimes we have our own rigidities here.
Meanwhile, European Union Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Industry and Mining, Ambassador Albert Muchanga, has called for the release of the fund meant for the green transition, which the polluters of the world are supposed to pay to the affected countries.
The principle in green transition is that the polluter pays. Developed countries made commitments for the rest of the world to embark on a green transition. And so far, those funds have not been released. So we make another call for the release of those funds.
And European Union Commissioner for Agriculture says the agriculture sector has come under attack due to climate change and that small agriculture businesses have mostly been affected, thereby posing a danger to food security. He says there is need to find a lasting solution to climate change by investing in smart agriculture system.
Zambia can count on the European Union as a partner. The country with its vast agricultural sector, natural resources, and young population has a huge potential. We are keen to set together the right conditions to exploit these possibilities for the country's sustainable and inclusive development.
The president also took time to visit some of the local and international businesses exhibiting at the forum and encouraged them to ensure that they clinch business deals. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, President Hichilema says Africa is not threatening the European Union by demanding that it begins to add value to its products before exportation. During the panel discussion at the European Union Zambia Economic Business Forum, President Hichilema says all that Africa wants is to ensure that it realizes profits from the many natural resources that it's endowed with. President Hichilema adds that Africa and Zambia in particular is inviting European businesses to work together with African businesses in a manner that will benefit all parties. And European Union Commissioner for Agriculture Janusz Wojciechowski said the commitment by President Hichilema to fight corruption is key at attracting the right form of investment into Zambia.
The highest cost of capital. We would like to address these issues. But ultimately, Madam, is for the people here to understand that Zambia is not threatening anyone. Africa is not threatening anyone. By us wanting to change the narrative of the centuries of trade with Europe, that we export raw materials, now we want to export value-added materials. We're not threatening Europe. We're inviting Europe to work with us. So Africa can realize that benefits out of its natural resource endowments and other factors. But that doesn't mean taking away something from Europe, but working with Europe, European people, European businesses, making Africa, Zambia, Africa better, making the world better.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We take a break. We'll be back with more in the news.
Savanda. Save nations, develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy. Agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. Savanda. Trade and logistics made easy.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilu. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage, and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Bank of Zambia has named Hive Group, an international firm, as being behind the cyber attack on the bank which took place last week. Central Bank Director for Information and Communication Technology, Greg Nsofu, says the attackers demanded money in exchange for the hacked data, but that negotiations with the attackers were necessary as the bank had everything under control. Mr. Nsofu further says not much damage has been done to the infrastructure due to the attack and that no important data was shipped out of the country by the attackers. Meanwhile, the Monetary Policy Committee has maintained the policy rate at 9% in the second quarter of 2022. Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Deni Kalialia Wednesday told the media at a briefing in Lusaka that the bank took into consideration several measures in arriving at the decision, among them the sharp decline in the inflation rate, a positive effort to implement fiscal consolidation measures, weaker growth prospects, and lingering vulnerabilities and risks to the financial sector.
Week of May 2022, the Bank of Zambia suffered a cyber attack on its infrastructure, a situation that brought fear on members of the public who wondered whether sensitive information of the country was in the hands of the wrong people. And Bank of Zambia Information Communication Technology Director Greg Nsofo, in responding to a question on the attack raised by the media at a monetary policy announcement meeting in Lusaka Wednesday, has named an international group called Hive Group of having been behind the attack and says no important information was shipped out of the country by the attackers.
Might not be forthcoming with a lot of details, considering that it's a matter that we are still managing. But for your own information, we know the attackers. It's a group called the Hive Group. They're quite common and with this kind of things. However, from our perspective, there is no much damage that has been done to our infrastructure. You might be aware that pretty much all our core systems are still up and running. Not much sensitive data has actually been shipped out. So the data that might be leaked out there is actually testing data for all intents and purposes.
And Mr. Nsofo also says the attackers demanded for a ransom from the bank, but that the bank declined to negotiate with the attackers as it was not necessary.
It's a ransomware that we experienced. As you can imagine, a ransomware comes with a demand of money. But knowing that we had protected our core systems, it wasn't any necessary for us to even engage in that kind of conversation. So we pretty much told them where to get off because it's our data.
And Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Deni Kalialia says the Monetary Policy Committee has decided to maintain the policy rate at 9% in the second quarter of 2022, taking into consideration various factors.
One is a sharp decline in inflation over the past 3 quarters and the projection that it will trend towards the 6 to 8% target range by the end of 2023. We also took into account the positive efforts that we have observed in the implementation of fiscal consolidation measures that the government is undertaking. We equally looked at what is happening to growth in our economy. Then we cast our eyes also on what is happening to the financial sector, in particular the vulnerabilities and risks that surround the sector.
The governor also says an official creditors committee has been formed comprising the G20 members, mostly from the Palace Club.
As we speak, the committee has been formed, so all we are waiting for now is when actually they will meet to start the deliberations. So there is progress. Like I said, as people who are affected, obviously, we are anxious.
And Deputy Governor Dr. Francis Chipimo says 65 million United States dollars gold reserves have so far been secured by the bank through the Gold Reserve Initiative. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
As Zambia joins the global community in marking International Museum Day, Lusaka Mayor Chilando Chitangala has underscored the need to develop local cuisines and enhance cultural exchange. She made the remarks in a speech read for her by Independence Ward Councillor Muwoto Modienkuku at the National Museums Day under the theme The Power of Museums. And India Deputy High Commissioner Sanjay Verna said the Museums Day helps create the awareness of the importance of museums, and they are in promoting cultural exchanges. He said museums help in building the already existing international cooperation, which India is very proud of. More in this report.
International Museums Day is observed on 18th May to raise awareness among people about the museums as an important means of cultural exchange and development of mutual understanding, cooperation and peace among people. This year, Zambia was not left out in marking the event themed Power of Museums. Lusaka Mayor Chilandwa Chitangala has underscored the need to develop local cuisines, enhance cultural exchange and promote the Zambian culture. She said this in a speech read on her behalf by Independence Ward Councillor Mubotu Madiankuku at the National Museums Day under the theme Power of Museums.
The government has encouraged the representation or the preservation of our cultural heritage through various mechanisms such as the promotion of cultural exchange, promotion of traditional foods, traditional dress, traditional dances. These are some of the major means of safeguarding the culture of the people in any particular society, which is fast disappearing under value to the livelihood of the Zambian people as well as their future generation. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has created an environment in which we as the people of Zambia can access our environment, utilize our traditional foods and any other cultural values and norms, as well as sustain our society economically.
And the Deputy High Commissioner to India, Sanjay Vena, said the Museums Day helps to create the awareness of the importance of museums in promoting cultural exchange.
The main significance of this day is to create awareness about the importance of museums in spreading awareness about the cultural wealth and heritage of any country. Museums also help us in promoting national and international cooperation.
Meanwhile, Lusaka National Museum's director, Bevin Sangulube, said the event is proof that museums can bring people together of different origins and work together as partners to help initiate, encourage, and expand the tourism product, as they also create linkages within the industry.
The Lusaka National Museum has strategically come up with programs and activities which are promoting cultural heritage for the young people as well as the general public, such as RONALD Junior Art Club, the lived science, catching the culture of food, storytelling, traditional games, my culture and my identity, and many more others.
Mercy Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Government has urged young people to take advantage of the conducive environment it has provided for businesses and cooperatives to thrive. Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts Elvis Nkandu says government is cognizant of the reality of unemployment and underemployment levels in the country, hence its efforts to empower many people to start self-driven businesses. Mr. Nkandu was speaking when he graced the vehicle and equipment handover ceremony by the Money Grow Savings and Credit Cooperative in Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound Wednesday. During the ceremony, Money Grow Saving and Credit Cooperative Chairperson Mauden Shula says his organization is committed to collaborating with the government on the premise of creating the much-needed jobs for young people in Zambia. Alex Chishimba reports.
As it is in the public domain, the new Dawn administration were voted into power predominantly by the youth of this country, on the premise that they yearned above everything else for jobs and economic opportunities. As elaborated in their manifesto, the UPND party believed the majority of jobs will be created by young people venturing into businesses and forming cooperatives, given that there is a limit to how many people can be employed by the civil service. The Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, Elvis Nkandu, has since tasked the youth to take advantage of the conducive environment that government has provided for businesses and cooperatives to thrive. Mr. Nkandu was speaking when he graced the vehicle and equipment handover ceremony by the Money Grow Savings and Credit Cooperative in Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound Wednesday.
To not just sit and wait for jobs, but also bring forth your ideas and create employment for yourselves. These will only come about from ambition, from your focus, discipline, and hard work by you, the young people of Zambia. Further, I encourage you to rise up and take charge of your country and destiny. It is time to work as a new Dawn government is ready to partner with you. To the youth that are being empowered today with equipment and business vehicles, I congratulate you.
During the ceremony, Manigro Savings and Credit Cooperative Chairperson Marden Shula says the organization is committed to collaborate with government on the premise of creating the much-needed jobs for young people in Zambia.
A minister, which is worth about $25,000, has so far created 11 jobs for young people. Honorable Minister, allow me a moment to summarize what our organization is all about. Manigro was started by small business owners with a mission to help ourselves grow our individual businesses. And we thought the best way to achieve this was to come together and embark on collective savings.
Meanwhile, the recipients of the vehicles have thanked the cooperative for this initiative.
I'm going to get my own machine. So, got a Mark-X, which is a 2018 model, and I'm going to actually make use of this machine wisely to generate more income. Manigro is there more especially to cover financial more especially to people with less less income, more especially to those who are in business.
Royal Bling Events get this canter you see right behind me, and what we are going to use this canter for is mainly to export our things here as an event company from the venue back to our warehouse.
Apart from the handover of the business vehicles and equipment, the ceremony was to witness the opening of the manufacturing workshop financed by Manigro, which will create about 11 jobs for the youth. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The National Action for Quality Education in Zambia, NACEZ, has expressed disappointment at the continued acute shortages of desks in schools across the country. NACEZ Executive Director Aaron Chansa says with the overwhelming enrollments of learners due to the introduction of free education in public schools, the union expected government to quickly respond to the critical shortages of desks in schools. Mr. Chansa says it is now estimated that the Ministry of Education will need more than 1.5 million desks to cure the academic disease. He has since urged the government to quickly unlock the CDF administrative machinery for community development.
With the introduction of the free education policy, we expected the government to quickly respond to this matter, but it is very, very sad that up to now, a lot of our learners are still sitting on the floor. This is an assault on quality education, and we want to invite our parents across the country to visit schools nearby their homes to actually see this ugly face. Our system of education actually is being given a very sad image. We want to see change. We want to see the treasury moving into action to release funds to make sure that desks are bought. It is also very, very sad that the CDF, which was supposed to help this situation, is very slow. We want the Ministry of Local Government to unlock the administrative machinery of CDF.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We take risks every day, with some big things and some little things. Other risks are out of our control. But no matter what's important in your life, Savenda Insurance has got you covered. Whether it's for your home, vehicle, investments, or the people you love, You shouldn't have to worry about securing the future. Let us handle that. Since 2014, we have helped Zambians protect their health and personal property, offering peace of mind and fostering progress and development. Taking risks is what makes us grow. Insurance is what keeps us going strong.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilu. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage, and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Now in international news, in Nigeria, fuel prices have tripled in less than a year, forcing many people to use firewood to cook their meals. Officials hoping to increase the use of cooking gas say expanding liquefied petroleum gas would save millions of trees and the environment. But the rising prices threaten that objective. Nigeria's state oil company blames the rising costs on global price increases. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwean economy has borne the brunt of U.S. unilateral sanctions for more than 20 years. After the Russia-Ukraine conflict erupted, Russians were hit with measures imposed by some Western nations. However, at the time of a global economy, the negative effects of some of these sanctions are impacting citizens from around the world, further convincing Zimbabwean activists of the debatable legality of such measures. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
It's been 2.5 years since Mahmoud Usman switched from firewood and charcoal to cooking gas to prepare his meals. He says it's fast, easier, and healthier. But with higher prices eating deep into his earnings, he's wondering if that's a wise move.
I used to pay the equivalent of $1.50 for gas in the small cylinder. The price has tripled now.
The rising cost of gas for cooking has pushed many in Nigeria to resort to using wood and charcoal. Here at the local charcoal market in Dotsa, new consignments arrive by the truckloads. Business is brisk.
We sell 200 to 400 bags of charcoal daily. On a very good day, we sell more than 500 bags.
To make those 500 bags, dozens of trees must have been cut down. Cooking gas usage in Africa's biggest oil and gas producer rose by 60% in 2020, exceeding 1 million metric tons. Sales grew further last year, but then slowed down due to reductions in supply. The country now has to import gas at higher prices.
Importing, there is a lot of taxes on it, maybe a custom duty, something like that. So it makes the product to be very high when it lands in the country. So that's the challenges we are having now.
The jump in cooking gas prices for Nigerians already struggling with rising inflation is also reversing gains made in protecting trees in a country where 10 million are cut down every year.
Officials say they hope increasing people's use of cooking gas will save millions of trees and the environment. But the high jump in prices of liquefied petroleum gas will make that harder to achieve.
Nigeria's state oil company blames the rising cost and global price increases. But with the country still importing most of its gas, users are bracing for more price hikes. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Kano, Nigeria.
The Zimbabwean economy has borne the brunt of U.S. unilateral sanctions for more than 20 years. After the Russia-Ukraine conflict erupted, Russians were hit with measures imposed by some Western nations. But at the time of global economy, the negative effect of these sanctions are impacting citizens from around the world, further convincing Zimbabwean activists of the debatable legal basis for such measures.
The fact that U.S. on its singular sitting decided to impose sanctions on Zimbabwe without the approval of United Nations, which makes the sanctions illegal. They are illegal to the effect that even the ordinary citizens are feeling the heat on these sanctions. And the renewal of sanctions, remember, sanctions are put as a measure to disseminate people from the government. It is a way whereby the people or the ordinary citizens, be it the electorate or the workers, be in a position to fight its government for the purpose of a regime change agenda. But that has not happened.
The U.S. DIDERA law passed in 2001 forbids, amongst other sanctions, global lenders from working with Zimbabwe. Last March, the Kenyan president called for the lifting of sanctions.
As Zimbabweans will continue to fight for removal of sanctions by whatever means, we will never give up. We are Zimbabweans, and we cannot be dictated by whoever to surrender or to be told how best can we run the affairs of our country. We debate on our own.
After her mission on sanctions' negative impact, UN envoy Lana Dahan found that Western measures had undermined human rights in Zimbabwe and worsened the humanitarian crisis.
Let's have now some sports news. And in our sports news tonight, the Football Association of Zambia FAR's communications manager Sydney Mungala says the senior national team has regrouped to train ahead of the AFCON qualifier against Ivory Coast. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Mungala says local players have commenced the training in readiness for an away encounter against Ivory Coast. Mungala notes that the Chipolo Polo international team recently played games with Iraq and Congo-Brazzaville have helped the team prepare for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. More in this report.
The Chipolo Polo have regrouped to train ahead of the AFCON qualifier match against Ivory Coast. The team will kick off their quest for a place at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations against Ivory Coast. The senior national team has been drawn in Group H alongside hosts Côte d'Ivoire, Comoros and Lesotho for the qualifiers of the 34th edition of the International Men's Football Championship of Africa. Football Association of Zambia Communications Manager Sydney Mungala has since reviewed that the training is going on well.
June 3, Zambia will be away to Ivory Coast in Abidjan, and from then they will host Comoros on the 7th of June at National Hero Stadium. So we have local players that have commenced training. The rest of the foreign-based players will join after this week because they still have games over the weekend, and they will actually join in time for the team to leave for an international camp in West Africa, where the team will be preparing for the final round of preparations, and then the team is expected to move to Abidjan on the 1st of June to actually enter the war zone. Everything is moving on okay, as you've seen. The technical bench are working on the local players.
Zambia will start their campaign with an away fixture against the 2015 champions Ivory Coast on May 30th, 2022, and will then host Comoros on June 14th before a back-to-back engagement with Lesotho. At home on September 19th in Maseru, 8 days later.
Aimed at helping the team prepare for the qualifiers, we played 2 international games during the last FIFA window against Congo-Brazzaville and also Benin. We knew that there was not going to be another opportunity to play friendly games before we play the qualifiers. So we are hopeful that we have continued to build, and I'm sure the coaches have seen the best players from the preparations, and we hope that when we play, we're going to show what we've been working on. So everything is ready, and I have no doubt that we're going to actually perform very well during the qualifiers.
The 2012 champions will then host Ivory Coast on March 20th, 2023, before wrapping up with their campaign away in Morone with a date against Comoros on March 28. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
And Camnet Stars have wrapped up the FAR's Zone 2 Week 24 League with a 3-1 win over Amazing Stars. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Camnet Stars head coach Elijah Chikwanda disclosed that with games remaining, the team has already scooped the league.
We have already won the championship, and then I would like to thank them for the good work that they've done. Going way forward, I would say we are up to the task, and we are actually getting there in terms of preparation for the team which is going to America. I think we are moving.
Very tough indeed, and I enjoyed it. Maybe on a different level, I took it that this is a game which has teams which are the best in the zone. Yeah, because Camnet is now leading the log, and Amazing second. They are behind. And I have a strong feeling that these are the two teams that are going to represent the zone.
Congratulations to the boys for scooping the league. And in rugby, Wales coach Wayne Pivac has named Leicester flanker Tommy Raphael and Cardiff number 8 James Ratty as 2 uncapped players in his 33-man squad to tour South Africa in July. According to BBC Sports, Pivac retained Dan Biggar as captain for the 3-test tour ahead of Alan Wynne-Jones. George North retains after a year out through injury, but veteran Scarlets centre Jonathan Davis misses out. In tennis, Andy Murray will begin his Wimbledon preparations at the Surbiton Trophy in May before playing the Queen's Club. The Briton 35 has opted to skip the French Open to prepare for the grass court summer. It will be the first time Murray has played the Challenger Tour event since 2004 when he was just 17 years old. British number 1 and last year's finalist Cameron Norrie will also play at Queen's alongside compatriots Dan Evans and Jack Draper. To end Camnet Television News, the headlines once again. President Hakainde Hichilema denies being a puppet of the West. The A.C.C. to appeal against RONALD CHITOTELA'S discharge by the magistrate court. The Bank of Zambia names the firm behind the hacking of its system. In international news, Nigerians turn to charcoal as cooking gas prices soar. In sports news, Zambia to build on the experience from international friendly games ahead of AFCON. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from Romans 12 verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve that God's will is His good, pleasing and perfect will. Thank you for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo. Good night.